Hey everyone, today I'll be kind on the top 10 most intense roller coasters I've ridden. And this is not based on how good they are, this is based on how intense I think they are. All these coasters are not forceless by any means, all are really, really intense. So let's get started with number 10 is Alpengeist at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. I thought this was a really intense experience. It was very powerful. This is one of the most powerful coasters I've ridden. It doesn't seem it loses any momentum at all, which is what I love. Plus the back row around this is really awesome. That cobra roll is also, even though it might be snappy and all, it's just really gives you so much whip, and that's why I love Alpengeist's cobra roll. I love this ride in general. Number 9 is Scorpion. Now, this one shocks me every time I ride. It's because this is an old coaster, but it is very forceful. You get pretty good laterals on the turns and stuff, and it's also just a lot of positive G's and lateral G's. It's just also that loop is very forceful. This is one of the reasons why I think Scorpion's underrated and doesn't give enough credit. It's because of how forceful it is. Number 8 is the Incredible Hulk coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Now, first time I rode this, first time I rode it after we opened, I thought it was kind of forceless. I didn't think it was a very intense experience at all. But then, as I've been riding it a lot more, I just seem to feel like it's just been super intense lately and stuff. I just feel like it's been a lot more forceful. Like, back when I first rode it, I thought it was forceless, but now I just think it's really intense. Heck, I even nearly blacked out one time on this thing. That is how intense the Hulk is, and that's what I love, is how intense it is. Number 7 is the Hungarian Horntail, and yes, I still find the Dragon Challenge coasters to be more intense than Hulk. Even though Hulk's still gotten a lot more intense, I think, I still think this is more intense. But yeah, I just think Hungarian Horntail has a lot of G-forces. But it's very comparable to Chinese Fireball and stuff. But still, I wouldn't say it's as intense as Chinese Fireball. A lot of people think this is more intense. I don't think so. And you can guess what number 6 is, Chinese Fireball. This is a lot more intense, I think. It's because I actually gray out on this ride. This is the side I do gray out on. I don't gray out on Hungarian Horntail. However, I do on Chinese Fireball. And that's why I think it's more intense, because I gray out. You gray out on this. And it's just something that's awesome about Chinese Fireball. And now we're at the top 5, and next 5 are very, very intense coasters. Number 5 is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This is a very intense roller coaster. This is, the front row might not be it's still pretty intense in the front, but it's not as intense as the front is in the back. The back row, oh boy, that pretzel loop is insane in the back. You pretty much feel like I've blacked out a lot on this coaster in the back row. It's that intense, and I love it. Every time I've ridden this, I've grayed out. That is one thing I love about Manta. And as far as it's so intense overall. It's a very intense coaster. I love how intense flying coaster. I mean, this is the only B&M flying coaster I've ridden, so I'm not really used to B&M flyers that much. However, I'm used to this one, but yeah, I need to ride more B&M flyers. Like I heard Tatsu's by far more intense than this thing. And but I don't really have any plans to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Same with Over Georgia. I mean, I do have a little plans to go to Over Georgia someday, but they have a B&M flyer there. But yeah, this is the only B&M flying coaster I've ridden, and it's by far my favorite one. Number 4 is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. If you've ridden this, you know how intense this coaster can get. A back row around this is literally heaven. This ride is it's so intense because it's very compact. This is an old school B&M invert. The back row though, you feel like the G's are pounding you a lot. Heck, your legs might even get numb from this. It is that intense. It is crazy. You're just whipping through so many inversions, so many elements on this ride. Such a long ride, and yeah, a lot of constant G's. I can't go over on how much this ride can numb your legs. That is just something I love about Montu. Number 3 is Afterburn at Carowinds. This is the coaster that shocked me this summer, or last summer in 2016. This ride is incredibly intense. The back row, that Batwing in the back row is so intense because you plunge through a tunnel and stuff. And yeah, it's also a lot more compact of a ride than Montu is. I slightly think it's more intense than Montu. I know. I need to ride this one more time, but this ride is so intense. I just can't go over how intense this ride is, and also the smoothness. This is my favorite B&M invert because of the smoothness and intensity. And yeah, it's just, I love this. Number 2 is my favorite coaster I've ridden, Fury 325. This ride, part of the reason why I love Fury 325 so much, and that's my favorite coaster, because of how intense it is. Part of the reason why it gets so intense is because of how fast you are. After that drop, you will gray out. Like, it is a very powerful gray out. I will not lie. It is very powerful. Plus, you just don't feel like you're losing any speed at all. Sure, you will lose speed, but you don't feel like you're losing any speed at all. I mean, I know the modern B&Ms, like this one opened in 2015. I know the modern B&Ms aren't very intense. They're kind of forceless. But this ride is the exact opposite. It is so forceful and so intense. But I know a lot of the older B&Ms are much more forceful. So for instance, the most intense coaster I've ridden is Kumba, Busch Gardens Tampa, which this opened in 1993. It's one of the oldest B&Ms out there. I think, and this is the oldest B&M, no, necessarily, never mind, sorry. Vortex is the oldest, but that doesn't even make this list. But yeah, whatever. But anyways, this is one of the oldest I've ridden. It is, I just can never get over and how intense it is. Every time I ride this, I can never get enough of Kumba. I seriously love this ride because of how intense it is. And yeah, I really want to ride this ride right now. It's just, I really love intensity, and intensity is my favorite part on roller coasters, and this ride is just proves that intensity is just amazing. It's just, Kumba does all of its elements so well, and it just makes for one insanely intense ride. I seriously love this coaster because of how intense it is. For example, Montu, which is in the same park, back row is literally the only spot where you get an insane ride. But anywhere you sit on this is an insane ride. So yeah, that is the top 10 most intense coasters I've ridden. I have yet more coasters to experience in the future. And of course, I'll always update this list if I find any coasters that are more intense, that can make my top 10 for most intense coasters. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoy. Put a like on the video, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.